Celebration Retirement Estate is situated in the heart of Johannesburg's northern suburbs, on what once was a humble peach farm. Only 35 minutes from Lanseria Airport, our location is perfect for those who enjoy a lifestyle of convenience and tranquility. With easy access to all major routes, including the N1 and N14 highways, traveling to and from destinations cannot get much better than this. At Celebration Retirement Estate, your well-being and security is our number one priority. Our guardhouse is supported by CCTV camera systems, and well-trained security personnel ensures a high level of security at all times. Daily visitor access is managed through traffic boom gates, spike barriers, and license verification, whilst 24-hour patrolled security maintains a safe environment both inside and on the perimeter of the estate. State-of-the-art healthcare facilities offer full care and support for our residents. This includes a frail care facility, home-based care options, and doctors' consulting rooms. Residents have 24-hour access to care services, and panic and emergency button response allows us to respond within minutes to any healthcare emergency.
I mean, we asked, can you really go, where like everything is at your doorstep?
Convenience extends beyond safety and care services into the heartbeat of the estate, our lifestyle centre. From the exquisite dining room and coffee shop to the beauty salon and library, your entertainment options are endless. Our extensive facilities make living an active lifestyle fun and interactive. Enjoy the heated indoor swimming pool or attend a yoga class in the recreation hall. For those who prefer the outdoors and being immersed in nature, the green walkway is perfect for an afternoon stroll. Sustainability and respect for the environment is a key aspect of our lifestyle. Celebration Retirement Estate is the first retirement estate in Gauteng registered for EDGE certification by the GBCSA. To comply with these requirements, all houses on the estate are constructed and equipped with environmentally friendly and energy-saving technology. Our luxurious houses have a wide variety of floor plans to choose from, with a private garden attached, whilst the north-facing apartments have equally stunning views of the surrounding landscapes.
Oh, the view! I've got a beautiful view of the Magaliesberg Range.
I've made so many friends in the people in the houses here, it's unbelievable.
By choosing our retirement lifestyle, you become part of a community of like-minded people who celebrate their silver years together. There will always be someone to assist with your needs and to offer a helping hand, whether it is your neighbour, a friend, or one of our caregivers. Invest in your happiness by choosing us as your retirement partner.
Yeah, I would recommend it for anybody if they can do it.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first episode that we are presenting to you guys again. The first one that we had was in the beginning of October, and we had so many people that actually joined us in that first webinar, which is in a set of 3 that we're going to be doing. And we had so many attendees in the webinar and so many people who registered that could not make the webinar due to all the challenges that we always have with load shedding and work and life that does happen, that we got so many requests from people to ask if we can please have another session of this webinar. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us again. I see we have a very good attendance again, and we hope that you find this really insightful and that this will be, if it's not the first step to your journey to a peace of mind retirement and a great journey in your life, we hope that it's already the second or the third step and that you are much closer to realizing your retirement dream with us. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, please follow the link. We will be posting a link into our chat box that will link you to our YouTube channel with all the different webinars. So if you've never attended any of our webinars before, whether it is on retirement, whether it is about property investment, whether it is about property in general, please follow the link and subscribe to our YouTube channel there. We will be posting this recording then on our YouTube channel as well, so that you can share it and watch it again if you want, if you feel you have missed something. But with that said, I would like to introduce my fellow colleague and guest for this webinar, Hanlie Kotze. Welcome, Hanlie.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here today.
Yeah,
Charl.
great stuff. Thanks, Hanlie. So you've also joined us on the first webinar, and I believe you're going to be joining me for the next webinar and the webinar thereafter as well, where we're going to be talking about the retirement concept. So Hanlie and myself have been involved with retirement estates for a very long time, and we understand the retirement concept in all the different needs and benefits that there are. And the first episode that we are going to be doing is we're going to be discussing a bit about not only the benefits of retirement estates and not only what retirement estates essentially offers and so forth. We are going to be discussing various things across the three episodes that we're going to be doing, but the main focus is, and the message that we want to bring across, is that you do not have to be retired to enjoy the benefits of retirement. And I think episode 1 today is going to cover the introduction of that. What do we mean about that? What does it mean that you don't have to be retired? Why do people refer to retirement villages? What does that concept mean? What is the perception of that concept of retirement villages or retirement estates? Is it still the perception that you have in your mind? You know, we're going to be covering a few things. It's not going to be a long webinar, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking only at about 40 minutes or so. And then afterwards, you are welcome to post your questions throughout if you want to. But we will definitely like to be in contact with each and every one of the registered attendees, and to discuss it with you also in person, obligation free. This is not about a sales pitch. This is not about a sales webinar or anything like that. This is about information. I think there's a very big need in the world, bringing it down to South Africa and bringing it down to Gauteng. There's a very big need for people to understand the benefits, the pros, the cons, the behind the scenes of what happens at a retirement estate. So with that in mind, let's not delay, let's get into it. And the first thing that we would like to discuss, Hanlie, is I think a question that you and I get a lot, you know, with both Waterkloof, Marina, and Celebration Retirement Estate, who's both the sponsors of these webinars in the sequence of 3, and you being a lot more involved with Waterkloof and myself being a lot more involved with Celebration. I think that between you and I and the teams and the hundreds of people that we get to see almost on a monthly basis, we are faced with a lot of people who has got the question of why do I need to scale down? Why do I need to consider a retirement estate? What in your opinion have you found?
Sure, I think facing the reality that one is getting older is not something that people want to accept, you know, as much as they do a lot of planning for the future in terms of their finances to make sure they're well taken care of. I find that people try and almost shy away from the health point, that there will be some adjustments that they would need to make as well over the time. The energy levels might not be there in a couple of years' time, and they might not have the strength to perform certain tasks which they could do easily before, you know. So I think those are the things that people are battling or they don't want to necessarily accept. What I've also found is that in a way, certain people's worth or identity lies within what they've gathered over the years, you know, and the size of their house is very important to them. So for them to scale down and get, you know, and let go of some of the things they worked so hard for over the years really require a huge heart and mindset shift.
Yeah, and I think, you know, what you say with regards to what people have built up over the years, people tend to cling on to their materialistic things, you know. Yes, some of the elements have got sentimental value. Some of the things you're holding on to because you want to pass it on to your legacy, your generation, your kids, all those type of things, and which is nothing wrong with it. But if you go and look at the life cycle, and I think people just tend to forget it. I mean, if I take myself, you know, I was a bit of a late starter with the family. My children are still very young, but in 11 years from now, you know, I'm turning 50 and I would be eligible to move into a lovely retirement lifestyle estate.
Yeah.
And I think where part of the hesitance come in is people they don't like that reality. You don't like to think about the fact that you are in your 30s and you need to already start thinking about retirement, or you're in your 40s and you know, you're approaching 50, and 50 is always a big milestone. And what needs to happen at 50 and all those type of things. So I think what we are saying is that scaling down is not what needs to happen at 50.
No.
Scaling down is part of the way of thinking that you must realize it's going to happen at some point, because when you were in your 20s, you started your life. It's part of this life cycle. And as you went through to varsity and you got married and you got children and you started with something small, you went to something bigger and you gathered a bunch of things, you know, and before you realize that you gather more things than what you actually need. And then you reach a point where you've reached what your goals were that you've set out for yourself in the future. And then when the reality starts coming in that now I'm approaching my 50s, or I need to start more seriously thinking about where I want to retire, then people become hesitant, because I think it's what I've experienced, that it's the unknown.
Yeah.
What
I definitely think it's the unknown factor that scares people to say, am I really at that point in my life now, you know, where I really need to make these type of decisions? And what you said earlier about us gathering all this stuff for our children, the sad thing is, and we see it on a daily basis, is the parents then realize, but now they've gathered all this stuff and the children are not interested in it. And all the sentimental value that they have for certain things are just not important to their children, you know, and they often sit and they live in these 5-6 bedroom houses, but they only use the bath, you know, the kitchen and the lounge and 1 bedroom, and the rest must still be maintained, must still be cleaned, you know. And I think that's the problem that we have. I think, you know, in life, that the bigger the better, you know. But when you get to this point in your life, and I mean, I'm 52 and I'm at the point now where I feel that I want to start scaling down, decluttering, because all the things that I thought was important is really not important anymore.
Yes. And yeah, so people are struggling with that idea. It's the unknown. And as part of that unknown, you know, I always tell clients, you need, and you know, with an investor or somebody who's investing in property, there's the question that you can ask yourself: what do you want and what do you need in terms of your investment strategy? You know, I want an investment property because I'm going to need it for one day for my retirement. It's part of my pension plan, or it might be a flip option, you know, and retirement estates have got that exceptional good value when it comes to investment. But I don't want to talk too much about that right now, because we're going to be covering that in episode 2 of that a bit more in detail. And when it comes to individuals who's looking to buy something for own use, again, you need to make that distinction between what do you want and what do you need, you know. And often, always, there's actually a distinction. There's a difference between those two. The things that you think you want is not the things that you necessarily need. You don't need this 3-4 bedroom place anymore. Do you really need 2 garages still? Do you really need 2 bathrooms for that matter? Do you need a garden for that matter? Or do you want to scale down to something that is more lock up and go, allows you to travel and all those type of things? I think that the nice thing is with our retirement estates nowadays, you know, with Celebration and Waterkloof being the retirement estate number 12 and 13 for Central Developments, is that we've learned to grow over the years and analyze the needs and the wants, I think, to the T, offering a lot of different varieties at the end of the day, you know, for our clients, to say that we can offer something that covers your want and your need for now and in the future. But everything is all about thinking in the future, not true?
No, that's very true, Charl. And I've seen also other people, you know, who might have gone through seeing one of their loved ones, or, you know, whether it's a parent or a close family member growing old. For them, the understanding and the acceptance of having to scale down and to declutter their lives almost come easier, because they've seen what aging has done, you know, to their parents or whatever, and that thing of what is your want and what is your need, you know, and what you can actually go without in order to live a more a better quality life. And the lock up and go, I think that's so critical, because in this season in one's life, you want to make memories, you know, you want to travel. And in our case, for example, we have a lot of people, the residents whose children are abroad. They're no longer even in South Africa. So
Yes.
for them, this type of lifestyle suits them perfectly, because they get to travel and make memories with their loved ones.
Yeah, and visit without having to worry about
Yeah.
who's going to look after my house, you know,
Yes.
and all those type of things. And, you know, if we highlight the word hesitant in this topic, I think it goes hand in hand because of that unknown factor. And there is so many things. It's a big change. Scaling down is something that nobody wants to do. Everybody, I mean, I don't like moving at all. If I could have moved only once in my life, I would have been very happy. But luckily, I haven't moved a lot in my life. But, you know, when I'm thinking about the next step in my life where I'm going to have to move, you're already starting to plan those things. But the unknown elements about that, about somebody moving from the house he's been living in for 30, 40 years, grew up in maybe, or whatever the case might be, and have to now downscale and move to something else like a retirement estate specifically, because it makes no sense. And I mean, clients have told us this over and over again. It makes no sense for us to downscale from a big property that we've got into a smaller one, just in a normal lifestyle estate or a normal security estate, because it's inevitable. You're going to probably have to move again in your life to something that caters for your specific needs. You know, so if you decide to move into a golf estate, it's because you like playing golf, you're active in playing golf, it suits your lifestyle, etc. But at some point, the golf course is not going to be that important anymore. The 19th hole is not going to be that important anymore. And you need to start thinking more seriously about what is going to help you in emergencies and times when your life maybe changes unexpectedly overnight, like what we've seen so many times with our clients. And now they have to scurry and find a place, typically in one of our retirement estates, where the panic buttons are available and the peep-in services from the frail care, and you've got all of those assistants with it. So, you know, what I've heard, and you can correct me, you know, if you've heard it on your side as well or haven't, is that the unknown of what people expect in terms of the conduct rules, simple thing like that. People think that the conduct rules in retirement estates or in our retirement estate says that no family and grandchildren are allowed to come and visit.
We also have that, you know, they think that,
a simple thing like that. So it brings it back to perceptions. You know, what are people's perceptions in terms of the retirement concept? And a lot of the time, that's the reason why people are hesitant to consider retirement estates, you know. There are just so many things, the life rights versus the sectional title, the ownership when it comes to retirement estates. I mean, we've, for those of you who haven't seen it, you can look on our on the YouTube channel with the link, go and look for the video where we spoke about the differences between life rights and full ownership sectional title. That gives a good explanation in terms of what the differences are. But it could be as simple as those type of things, why people are hesitant to even just, you know, do some research.
Yeah. No, Charl, I can't agree with you more. And I think central development, you know, we've definitely pioneered and redefined the concept of a more modern retirement estate living, you know, over the last 12 years, like you said, with Celebration respectively being the 12th and us being the 13th retirement estate. So we've basically managed to take all the lessons we've learned and to incorporate it into these two developments. And as much as some people are still hesitant, like you say, and stuck in their old beliefs of what a retirement estate is all about, or an old age home, it's always refreshing for me when they visit the marina and the first thing they say is, but this is everything but an old age home, you know.
Yeah.
And I think also for us working in the estate on a daily basis and just being witness witness to how much our residents of 50 years and older are enjoying the pristine lifestyle experience, you know, on offer. That excites me because many of them felt exactly the same way about retirement estates when they first got there, you know. So yeah, and like you say, you know, scaling down, I'm sure the majority of our residents would agree that after having settled in, the first month is always a bit of an adjustment, but thereafter the view is, you know, they should have done this a long time ago. They waited too long. They've missed out on experiencing life to the fullest, because they thought, you know, that it wasn't time yet to move to the estate.
Yeah, and we've seen it with the era. So when you think about retirement age of South Africa, if we want to now go according to the book, it's 65.
Yeah.
Okay, in general. So if you look at when the 65 pluses were born, at that time, and I think we can move on to the next one because that's going to bring us to the point that we want to do here. If we look at who is typically the retirees now moving into a retirement estate, and we take the children like myself, you know, the 40-something, the late 30s, the 40-somethings, this concept is going to be a lot easier for me to move into one day and understand, because I'm understanding it right now. It's available actually right now. The retirees of today, the 60, the 70 pluses, maybe the 80 pluses, who's now made the decision, sold their property, downscaling, looking for something with peace and quiet and convenience and all those type of things. They were never exposed to retirement estates like this in the past. So it was old age home that, you know, that was what it was. So the question here is, in terms of the perception and the reality, what have you found with the numerous clients that you have dealt with and your team has dealt with? What are the clients' perception when they get to the site of what they thought they're going to see and what they're actually seeing? You know, is it still the same?
No, Charl, I think we love it to see the expression on their faces, you know, because they come with that mindset of an old age home where in the past, you know, their parents, you know, they were put into an old age home and you're almost forgotten, you know, people are hesitant to visit you, you know, because it's not a nice environment to take your children to and whatever, you know. So I think that's what's so nice for us at the marina as well, is the fact that it's this lifestyle offering. And as much as it's scary at the beginning to sign the contract and, you know, secure units for you, once you've made that mind and heart set shift, a lot of things change in your life. I actually see excitement from people, you know, knowing that this is my, like they call it, their forever home. Like you said, people don't want to move again. So they see it as their forever. And how exciting is it to design your own, or, you know, build a new house from scratch as your forever home, you know. And I think those are the things that's important. And what we love a lot in the marina and the team is the fact that the children can come and visit and stay up to 30 days, you know. So we look forward to weekends, to school holidays, because then the marina is alive with activities. And we find that the residents tell us that they see their children and grandchildren so much more now because of the activities. In our case, the fact that they can do fishing with them, you know, they can use the paddle boats, the canoes, you know, they actually spend quality time there. And not only young children, you know, teenagers, you know, often late afternoon you would see them busy fishing with their, and I think grandparents, and that is what life is all about, you know, spending that quality time and wanting to spend time with grandma at their place. I think that means a lot to them, and that has assisted them in making that mindset shift to say, this is okay for where I am in my life now. This is okay.
Yeah, and people take it for granted when they just drive past, or they just hear the name, or they Google it, and you know, and the Celebration or Waterkloof comes up, and they say, "Ach, no, I know them," you know. But have you been there? Have you been inside? You know, if you haven't been inside, if you haven't taken the time, because it's really something to see. You can never, and every single client tells me that as well. is, you know, I've driven past here a million times. I work in the area, or I come and visit people, you know, and I've always wanted to come, and now I've had, and it's nothing what I thought. It's 10 times better, you know, and that is the reality. It brings back that perception. What is your perception versus the reality? Do not shoot something down if you haven't physically seen it. You haven't spoken to anybody. You haven't had a tour of everything. You haven't had a look at the lifestyle that it has to offer, because that's what it's all about. So yes, we call it a retirement estate, but we say it's for over 50s. And for some people, it might be confusing. Yeah, but I'm not retired yet, but you know, I can be 50 to live here. That is the purpose of it. That's the whole thing. We've got so many early 50s. I mean, some of our youngest clients are 50s. They work from home still. You know, there's got internet, there's everything, there's fiber, there's everything there. So it allows them to work from home in a peaceful environment. And they've already just made that provision, what most people only take when they are 70.
That's so true. You know, Charl, I see that quite a lot. You know, I recently spoke to one of the residents. I mean, he's still in his early 60s. He's planning on working quite a few years still to come. Both him and his wife are running their businesses from their house, you know. And he just said to me, you know what, Hanlie, how awesome is it that 5 minutes after I finish work in the afternoon, because they work from home, 5 minutes, I'm in the boat fishing, you know, doing what I'm passionate about. He says, and with his wife, often finishing off later at night, she gets to go for a walk at 10 o'clock at night because it's safe and it's a secure environment. You know, he says they don't even have an alarm system in their house, you know, so that's really the quality of lifestyle we want to offer people, to enjoy a lot of social activities with like-minded people, you know, and enjoy life, because like you say, it's not a retirement estate, it is a lifestyle estate where you need to live, you know, for people who are 50 years and older.
Yeah. So the concept that I think individuals need to realize why something is called something. So let's break it down into, you know, an easy term. So if you call something student accommodation, it's got certain amenities for students, it's got study places, it's got this, and it's close to the university, and you know, it's got the things that students need, and it's for students specifically. If you refer to something as a golf estate, like I mentioned earlier, you call it a golf estate because there is a golf course or a putting green, depending on how you want to phrase it, but you've got a golf course essentially there, and you've got the clubhouse, and you've got like-minded people who enjoy getting together doing that. That's why it's called a golf estate. And now you've got a retirement village. So a retirement village, we just say, right, it's focused on future retirees, not necessarily retirees right now, future retirees. The only benefit that we are giving you is that you can make this change or secure something at least for you much earlier in your life, so that you are settled in by the time that you feel, okay, now I want to retire, or now I want to settle down, or now I'm going to be a bit more at home, or whatever the case might be. And that's why in these retirement estates of ours, you can be any age to purchase the property. It's not life rights. So even if you do it as a temporary investment and you've got something that you want to buy now and occupy later, you can actually do that. So how nice is it to have that peace of mind if you could buy something now that you aspire to potentially move in someday yourself. If you can't afford a bigger place right now that you want to move and get your foot into the door at least, and that's going to still mean something to you one day. You know, I'm so grateful to see that children, all the more children are on board assisting their parents as well, whether it's with a bit of financing, putting capital from their side into the property, but effectively this becomes a generational investment, and we're going to cover that as well in the second episode. But perception versus reality, I think very important. If you have your own perception, back it up with what the reality is by physically going to see it.
Charl, and I think the more people take us up on the offer to come and see for themselves, you know, the easier it will be for us to change their perception. And please, there's no obligation to buy, but just come and see for yourself. One of our Afrikaans residents said to me the other day, Hanlie, sien is glo, maar voel is wragtig. Now, the marina is such an experience. So come and see for yourself, you know, why almost 85% of the marina has already been sold. You have to see it to believe it.
Yeah. And I think that's, before we move on to the next one, I would really like to leave everybody who's on this webinar, everybody who will be watching this, sharing this to friends and family and other people. I think let that stick with you. If you've never seen any of our retirement estates over the past 12 years, this is the ideal opportunity to come and have a look on what to expect, even if you're not ready right now, even if you say you're not ready right now, even if you think you're not ready right now. I mean, I think we hear it every day almost, you know.
We're too young.
We're too young to come and live here, you know, and then that individual might already be 80, you know, but he's been missing out.
Yeah.
He's been missing out
Exactly.
on so much because his perception and the reality is not the same thing. So if I can leave anybody with something from this slide, is to go and have a look, either at Waterkloof in Pretoria, either at Celebration, even if it's just an outing for you and the family, go and have a look to see what your potential retirement could look like one day. What do you want? You still want that independence. I think that's everybody's aspiration. You do not want to be dependent on anybody at your old age. Supply and demand is one of the biggest key elements that we see with our retirement estates. Every year there are new people retiring, thinking about retirement, children planning for their retirement, and the options are just becoming lesser and lesser and lesser. I think that the demand will never be able to keep up with, or the supply will never be able to keep up with the demand, you know, at the end of the day. So make sure that your perception does not blur the reality, and rather go out and have a look, see what the facilities are, and bring it home, bring it to heart, where you can say, listen, what happens? What am I going to do if my life changes in a car accident? What am I going to do if my parents all of a sudden suffers from a stroke or a heart attack and now cannot continue living where they are? What contingency have you got in place? That contingency could be as simple as an investment in a retirement estate that when you need it, you've got it. You know, like the old saying goes, rather have it and never use it than needing it and not having it, you know. All right, let's go to the next one and let's talk a bit about the planning for the retirement, scaling down, you know, what to consider. There's a lot of thought process that goes into this. There's a lot of things to consider, which is all part of the scaling down process. And there's not one single person that I know of that moved into any of our retirement estates that upscaled from where they came from. Everybody downscaled. You know, you weren't used to a 2-bedroom house where you were, now bought a 3 or a 4-bedroom house and you know, made bigger. Everybody is downscaling, so everybody is going through the same thing. What would your advice be for people looking to downscale?
Sure, my advice would be to sooner than later make that decision on where do you want to spend this exciting season in your life. People must do their homework, visit different retirement estates, you know, take into consideration what you would need, not now, but later in life. That's what you need to take into consideration. Do take note of the importance of location. Location is critical as one grows older, especially to make sure that you've got access to prominent hospitals and good medical care, not for now, but for the future. And especially with the life expectancy of people on the increase, you know. And then something which is very dear to my heart is the fact that one's health is not guaranteed. And I think you also touched on it earlier today. So make the decision to move whilst you can still do it yourself. Decide, where do you want to stay? You know, what you want to take with, you know, I want to emphasize the fact that your health is not guaranteed. I see it too often where we talk to people and they say, you know what, I'm not ready yet. I'm too young. Just to be phoned a couple of weeks later after having suffered a serious health setback. So for me, it is do it in time, don't wait until you're too old to enjoy all the benefits of a more relaxed lifestyle experience. And maybe on a lighter note, Charl, one of the residents said to me the other day, Hanlie, I decided to choose for myself where I want to live before my children do so. So that too is a very important consideration, you know, when thinking about where you want to spend your life.
Yeah, it brings it back to that independence.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be independent, you still want to make your own decisions, and more importantly, as you say, you want to still do it whilst you can still enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, you want to go to the bird hide, you want to go and sit there. I'm going to tell you quickly now, I'm mentioning the bird hide. So I've got a one-bedroom apartment for an investment at Celebration.
Okay.
And the tenant that I've got in there has already lived there for the past 4 years, because, you know, we've started with the first phase occupancies back in 2018, and Celebration is finishing up the last phases right now. But the other day I saw him at the bird hide, and I said, "Yo, uncle, I'm surprised to see you here. I never pictured you as a bird watcher."
Yeah.
He said, "You know what, Charl, I never thought I was." But when I got here, and my son gave me a camera and binoculars, and I sat here and I saw that on this list there's about 100 species of birds spotted in this small area. I thought to myself, in Joburg, is, you know, without going to an isolated place where you go bird watching, or botanical gardens or things like that, can this actually be found still in Joburg? There's hidden gems all over Gauteng, with Waterkloof Marina being one of them, with your very unique setup with the marina that you've got there, the dam that you've got there. On Celebration side, that beautiful parkland area and the bird hide and the walking trails and all that outdoor activity. There's hidden gems that's available everywhere. But take that next step, go and have a look at it. And as you said, that healthcare is an extremely, extremely important part. I've seen it. Even with a tenant of mine, you know, he was a bit of a forward thinker. He thought that he knew that, you know, in a couple of years from now, he's going to struggle a bit with mobility, you know, because he is getting older, and he's already a more elderly person, but 100% fine. And now when it started to become more of a challenge for him to walk on his own and things like that, you know, he was able to get around through the whole estate with a little mobile scooter. So accessibility, the healthcare element about that, and the healthcare, I think, is, apart from security, is one of the biggest draw cards for all of our clients that we've had so far in the retirement estate. Is just to know that the frail care is on site, but not being the frail care per se, being a healthcare operator. So your health, although good health is never guaranteed, at least healthcare within one of our estates are guaranteed. You aren't guaranteed anything if you're on the outside. You know, I always tell my clients that if you're a resident in the estate and you need some sort of care facilitation, no matter to what level, you can at least be assisted in the comfort of your own home still, even if my frail care is full. But if you're an outsider looking to get into our frail care, my frail care is full, I cannot help you.
No, that's very true, Charl. You know, I always say to people, especially children, looking for a place for their parents so they can have complete peace of mind. I always say to children, allow us to take care of your loved ones when you can't, you know, because often children feel guilty because they cannot always be there. I just say, don't feel guilty. You know, we all have busy lives to live and whatever, but allow us. That's why we are there. You know, that's why we have frail care. That's why we have assisted living packages as an option. So allow us to take care of your loved ones. And I really want to encourage people to visit us and just come and see what are the benefits of the lifestyle experience we offer. There's a couple of things we touch on, which is critical to me, is the fact that you're going to spend time with like-minded people. You know, you will be able to participate in social activities, like you say, that you never thought you would ever be interested in. I mean, the latest one at the marina is line dancing, and what a ball that is to join those ladies busy, you know, with their line dancing. But there are so many social activities, and what more than one resident has said to me, Hanlie, we've made the most wonderful friendships here in the marina, and in a safe and secure environment. And that is what life and, you know, getting older should all be about, to enjoy life, to celebrate it, and to live it to its fullest.
No, 100%. It's that like-minded community, as you said. You know, when you want to enjoy those type of things, you want to enjoy it with the people that will enjoy it with you.
Yeah.
You know,
and we look out for you. You know, on Thursday we had a situation where they phoned us to say they're looking for a particular lady in the apartment, you know, and we were all running around, where can she be, just to find out that she's visiting a friend just 2 apartments further. But that's what you want, that knowing that somebody is taking care of her, somebody is noticing that she's not in her apartment. And that's why I say that's what's important at this stage in your life, you know, to be part of a close-knit community, people who care about you, people who, you know, who look after you, and who, you know, who are interested in your well-being as well.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Well, Hanlie, I think that's all from my side.
Yeah.
Anything from your side still you want to add?
No, maybe just why we want people to, or why is it been, you know, good for people? Why, how can they benefit from buying from us as part of the development phase? Just that fact that if you buy from us as part of the development phase, you don't have any transfer costs or any other hidden costs.
Important, yeah.
You know, so that's very important to take into consideration. And then, of course, we've also seen with our other retirement estates that once these developments are sold out, and due to the scarcity, which you also touched on earlier, you know, due to the scarcity of especially the likes of Waterkloof, Marina and Celebration, you tend to pay so much more when you then want to secure a unit for you, but also you're limited in terms of choice, you know, and choosing the ideal location you would like to have within the estate. Yeah. That's all for the last from my side.
That's very important, because now you have the opportunity to beat the waiting list, beat the price increases. You know, if you can make a plan to see whether you can, even if you just get your foot into the door. So that's very important. So ladies and gentlemen, we will be posting a link in the chat box if you want to talk to either myself or Hanlie or any one of our team members on Waterkloof or Celebration about the simplest thing. The simplest thing. It could be as simple as, you know, what is your policy with regards to pets? What is your policy with regards to load shedding? What things have you got in place with load shedding and backup generation and green building? And, you know, if you want to ask us anything to get more information, to further your research, to make a more informed decision, because as we say, do your homework, you know, do your research, compare. You know, if you are unsure about the one development, look at all of them. Make sure that you can make an informed decision, like the past 7,000 clients that we have successfully found a retirement accommodation or over 50s lifestyle accommodation for in the past 12 years. You know, they could not all have been wrong. It is definitely something that you must make sure that whatever is on offer between your wants and your needs, does it align? And I can promise you, if you don't just make an assumption, and if you're not stubborn only to your perceptions, and you actually go out and you go and see whether your perception aligns, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. We are proud to say that our retirement estates are always something that that people have come back and said, this is nothing what I've expected. It's 100 times better.
Absolutely.
You know, it is sometimes about affordability, but there are ways around it. It's not only it doesn't only have to be cash. There could be ways that we could assist with a subject to sale. There will be certain terms and conditions. There could even be some rent to buy type of options available. There could be financing with a cash injection. There is a lot of things, but please don't assume that it's only the one way or it's only the other way. Rather, send through your inquiry, ask us about it. Visit our website for that matter, www.retirenow.co.za. You can click on either Celebration or Waterkloof Marina. You can get in touch with the teams, myself, Hanlie, as well. And feel free to ask any question that you would like. We would gladly like to assist, but I think the priority or the primary thing that Hanlie and I would like is to see you guys on site. Yes. Send through your inquiry, make an appointment with us to see. We're open 7 days a week on both projects. That's how important it is to us and to our company that we can make a difference in everybody's lives who visits Celebration, even if it is only changing your perception. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope it was insightful. I hope you've learned something, and we really hope to see you or get in touch with you on a more personal basis. And please remember to subscribe on our website so that you can be invited for the next one, and follow all of the future videos that we are going to be posting as well. Hanlie, thank you very much for taking time out of your day.
Thank you, Charl.
And it's always a pleasure talking to you as well.
Absolutely. Thanks. Lovely being here today.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.